What is up, everybody? You already know who it is. It's your boy, Mocho. And today is January 2nd, and we are doing another Bible reading. I am covering today Genesis 4 to 6. 4 to 6. Alright? Let's begin. First three sons of Adam and Eve. In the continuing succession of the beginnings, the Genesis account records the beginning of the first family. Adam and Eve gave birth to two sons named Cain and Abel, and later to a third named Seth. The text will subsequently indicate that over a period of many years the family will include numerous sons and daughters. As there is no indication of other created human beings, it is altogether likely that these first brothers and sisters enter into marriage with each other, despite the sense of inappropriateness which would be felt should that occur in the following generations. Still, another first is Genesis record of mankind's earliest formal worship of God. Both Cain and Abel offer sacrifices to God by devouring the fruits of their individual labors. As a farmer, Cain brings a portion of his crops, while Abel, a herdsman, offers up some of the best of his flock to God. Although the text is silent as to what promotes God's response, it is evident that God is not pleased with Cain's offering. Whether this is because God has specifically commanded the brothers to offer animal sacrifices, or perhaps Cain's character is already known by God to be evil, it is unclear. In any event, Cain's pride is dashed, and his anger toward Abel is so great that in an act of parliamented murder, Cain kills Abel. The murder is compounded when Cain lies to God concerning Abel's whereabouts. Although God punishes Cain for his wrongdoing, the text gives some interesting insight to the character of God by indicating that despite Cain's great sin, God nevertheless shows mercy to him. This is not to be a unique act of grace. God's mercy will be seen time and again. Unfortunately, Cain apparently does not respond favorably to God's mercy, at least if his descendants are any reflection of Cain's continued character. In contrast, when Seth is born, it appears that Seth takes on righteousness character of Abel and instills a respect for God and his children as well. Alright. Genesis 4, 1 to Eden. Cain and Abel born. Adam made love to his wife Eve, and she became pregnant and gave birth to Cain. She said, "With the help of the Lord, I have brought forth a man." Later she gave birth to his brother Abel. Brothers bring offerings. Now Abel kept flock, and Cain worked the soil. In the course of time, Cain brought some of the fruits of the soil as an offering to the Lord. And Abel brought his offering, fat portions from some of the firstborn of his flock. The Lord looked with favor on Abel and his offering, but on Cain and his offering he did not look with favor. So Cain was very angry, and his face was downcast. Then the Lord said to Cain, "Why are you angry? Why is your face downcast? If you do what is right, you will not be accepted. But if you do not do what is right, sin is crushing you at the door. It is desires to have you, but you must rule over it. Cain kills Abel. Now Cain said to his brother Abel, "Let's go out to the field." While they were out in the field, Cain attacks his brother Abel and killed him. Then the Lord said to Cain, "Where is your brother Abel?" "I don't know," he replied. "Am I my brother's keeper?" Cain punished. The Lord said, "What have you done? Listen, your brother's blood cries out to me from the ground. Now you are under a curse and driven from the ground, which opened its mouth to receive your brother's blood from your hand. When you work the ground, it will no longer yield its crops for you. You will be relentless, wandering on the earth." Cain said to the Lord, "My punishment is more than I can bear. Today you are driving me from the land, and I will be hidden from your presence. I will be relentless, wandering on the earth, and whoever finds me will kill me." But the Lord said to him, "Not so. Anyone who kills Cain will suffer vengeance 7 times over." 1 second. Then the Lord put a mark on Cain, so that no one who found him would kill him. So Cain went out from the Lord's presence and lived in the land of Nod, east of Eden. Cain's descendants. Cain made love to his wife, and she became pregnant and gave birth to Enoch. Cain was then building a city, and he named it after his son Enoch. To Enoch was born Irad, and Irad was the father of Machil, and Machil was the father of Methuselah. I can't even say these names. Methuselah, and Methuselah was the father of Lamech. Lamech married 2 women, one named Ida and the other Zaliah. Ida gave birth to Jabal. He was the father of those who lived in tents and raised livestock. His brother named Jabal. He was the father of all who played stringed instruments and pipes. Zillah also had a son, Tubal-Cain, who forged all kinds of tools out of bronze and iron. Tubal-Cain's sister was Naamah. Lamech's confessing killing. Lamech said to his wives, "Ada and Zillah, listen to me. Wives of Lamech, hear my words. I have killed a man for wandering me, a young man for injuring me. If Cain is angry 7 times, then Lamech 77 times." Seth born. Adam made love to his wife again. She gave birth to his son and named him Seth, saying, "God has granted me another child in place of Abel." Since Cain killed him, Seth also had a son and named him Enosh. At that time, people began to call on the name of the Lord. Descendants of Adam to Noah. What follows is a simple chronological of 10 generations from Adam through Seth to Noah, yet this brief family record is full of surprises. For one thing, the men who are named each live for hundreds of years and have children when they are from 65 to 500 years old. Much speculation has been generated as to the cause of longevity. Some have even rejected the historical accuracy of the account, saying that the years are merely represented periods of time, perhaps shorter than modern years. However, the original language allows no such interpretation. In support of the historic credibility of the account, others have explained the unusual longevity on a various of bases, including the effect of the fruit of the tree of life in the Garden of Eden, the original immortality of man feeling only the slightest consequences of sin at this early stage in man's development, or the superiority of the food, atmosphere, or other living conditions during this period. One can only speculate, but acknowledge a creative beings powerful enough to bring the universe into existence, certainly allowing the option for such a creator to permit unusual lengthy lives for whenever purpose might suit his comprehensive plan for mankind. A number of possible purposes immediately presents themselves, including the need to quickly populate the earth and the need to promulgate basic moral principles throughout the beginning of mankind. Promulgating morality throughout the early generations is made easier due to the fact that Adam and Seth continue to live as contemporaries with their offering several generations removed. By living 930 years, for example, Adam is still alive during the days of Lamech, father of Noah. Toward the end of the first millennium of creation, one can almost see Adam gathering the early patriarchs together and telling them over and over how God created the world, how he directed mankind to live, and how he showed both punishment and mercy when Adam and Eve, even Cain, had been disobedient. Still, other surprises is that of Adam's descendants, Enosh does not die ever. After 365 years of what is apparently an exponentially righteous life, Enoch is taken from the world in some manner other than death. The accounts of the other patriarchs each record the year in which they die, but the account of the Enoch indicates that he was not more. What is even more noteworthy than one's being translated out of this life without expecting death is that exciting suggestion that mankind is immoral, that there is actually life beyond death. It is altogether possible that this genealogical listing and others to follow may not list every successful generation, and therefore it may omit hundreds of years of mankind's history. Such would be ceased, for example, if son were used in reference for the grandson, or in even more remote descent, as is time seen later in historical records. Should that be the case, there would be great difficulty in assigning specific dates to such major events as the creation of the first man and woman, or the great flood, which come in the days of Noah, because there is no indication to the contrary. To this narrative proceeds on the assumption that the genealogies list father to son progressions, right? Progressions without omission of intervening generations, but leaves the matter as an open question. Early dating will be shown as AC after creation of mankind, as calculated from the information supplied in the Genesis record, until such time as more past dating in the BC era can be utilized. Even then, the unquestionable dates are supplied where relatably believed to be account in order to aid the reader's understanding of the historical contents. Record of mankind. This is a written account of Adam's family line. When God created mankind, he made them in the likeness of God. He created them male and female and blessed them. He named them mankind when they were created. Seth, when Adam had lived 130 years, he had a son in his own likeness, in his own image. He named him Seth. After Seth was born, Adam lived 800 years and had other sons and daughters. Altogether, Adam lived to be a total of 930 years, and then he died. Enosh. When Seth lived 105 years, he became the father of Enosh. After he became the father of Enosh, Seth lived 870 years and had other sons and daughters. Altogether, Seth lived a total of 912 years, and then he died. Kenan. When Enosh had lived 990 years, he became the father of Kenan. After he became the father of Kenan, Enosh lived 815 years and had other sons and daughters. Altogether, Enosh lived a total of 905 years, and then he died. Mahalalel. When Kenan had lived 70 years, he became the father of Mahalalel. After he became the father of Mahalalel, Kenan lived 840 years and had other sons and daughters. Altogether, Kenan had lived a total of 910 years, and then he died. Jared. When Mahalalel had lived 65 years, he became the father of Jared. After he became the father of Jared, Mahalalel lived 830 years and had other sons and daughters. Altogether, Mahalalel lived a total of 895 years, and then he died. Enosh. Since Jared had lived 162 years, he became the father of Enosh. Jared had lived 800 years and then had sons and daughters. Altogether, Jared lived a total of 962 years, and then he died. Methuselah. When Enosh had lived 65 years, he became the father of Methuselah. After he became the father of Methuselah, Enosh walked faithfully with God 300 years and had other sons and daughters. Altogether, Enosh lived a total of 365 years. Enosh walked faithfully with God. Then he was no more because God took him away. Lamesh. When Methuselah had lived 187 years, he became the father of Lamesh. After he became the father of Lamesh, Methuselah, I can't freaking say this, lived 782 years and had other sons and daughters. Altogether, Methuselah lived a total of 969 years, and then he died. Noah. When Lamech lived 182 years. He had a son. He named him Noah and said, "He will comfort us in the labor and painful toil of our hands caused by the ground the Lord has caused." After Noah was born, Lamech lived 595 years and had other sons and daughters. Altogether, Lamech lived a total of 777 years and then he died. Shem, Ham, and Japheth. After Noah was 500 years old, he became the father of Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And that was today's reading. A quick run through, first things first. I cannot read that well, obviously. I'm struggling just saying these names and some of these words, So I'm doing my best, so, if I make you, cringe a little bit, I apologize, I'm trying my best. But overall, a quick review from this. From most of man, from back in the day, they're saying our kids from Adam and Eve, and everybody was just marrying themselves, so it's just like what they would call incest today was normal times for them because it was just them. Everybody was living pretty much almost 1,000 years to 500 years. That's pretty insane. Imagine if times were like that now. People were living like that now. Honestly, that would probably be pretty bad because the world now, if people were dying at a later age like that, probably would be struggling with food and water and stuff, and the living conditions would be just outrageous. But yeah. Pretty interesting. I really don't have much to say, I guess. It's just crazy that from what this is saying, that people were living so long. And nowadays we're barely living 100. So, how have times have changed? Yeah. Alright, well, I'm done. Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed that. That was the Bible reading, Genesis 4-6. Alright? You already know who it is. It's your boy, Mucho, and it's time for me to skedaddle on out of here. Peace.